Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Bridge. My double O, what might have been, come Inglenook shunting puzzle. And the reason for this video is, after over a year, I finally hit a milestone. We've got the track laid, and it's all wired. And despite the jerkiness of the train, or test train, it is all up and running perfectly. And the best thing is, I can go from DC to DCC with just a couple of banana plugs. And it's awesome. As you can see, just running this train. I'll give a bit more info on this loco that's running around, as well as all my other stock, in another part of this video. That'll be part 2-ish, but it'll all be one long video. So yeah, at this point, as you can see, all 3 sidings are wired and all 3 work. Bit over exuberant on the controller. I am using an ancient Hornby controller. It's a black box with a red scroll wheel. Older model railway people will know the one I'm talking about. That's all it is for the DC at the moment. And now you see me switch to the Bachmann Easy Command DCC controller. And I'm not sure what's wrong with this red number 1 Digby. It's a Bachmann Junior loco, and either it's got some issues with the pickups or back-to-backs, I'm not sure. But as you can see, that it's struggling. I've run a different DCC loco over this. It's not on film because it's a US outline one, and it ran flawlessly. So any stuttering you see by this loco is caused by the loco and not the wiring or the controller. But yeah, as you can see, DCC and DC, and if I have both controllers on the desk ready, it's literally 10-15 seconds to swap them over. I literally just pull out 2 banana plugs, plug the new ones in, and we're all set to go. That's how easy it is. One interesting thing about the point control you can see me flicking there is they are Caboose Industries switches from the US, and they're pretty awesome. And I'll show you close up in a later video, but they're manual control, but they are able to control the polarity through the frog of the point by flicking the switch. So really awesome little things. So guys, on to part 2 of this video, which is looking at the rolling stock iron. Now I'm just going to go through the UK outline stuff. I'll do the US in a separate video when we actually get far enough along with the layout to show that off as well. So starting off on the left here, we have Seagull, which is obviously a Gresley A4. I was given this for free. It runs freely, as in there's very little tension there, and there's a socket on the rear which makes me think it's an early tender drive one. Not sure what to do with that, so that's just sat there in the collection, not doing a lot. Moving on, everyone should have a Nelly in their collection. Unfortunately, that one has got some damage on the rear quarter. It's not a runner. It will get something done with it at some point, but it's not a priority at the moment. Behind it, we have a Northeastern liveried brake van. Following on, I believe that is an Edward coach from Thomas and Friends series. I'm not 100% sure, it could be James. Hopefully someone in the comments can let me know where that comes from. Don't recall where I picked that up from. The following coach was a cheap eBay purchase. It looked better in the pictures than what it actually is. That is very thickly, I don't know if it'll pick up and focus, but it's very thickly applied gloss paint, and the wheels are not matching. There's 3 solid disc wheels, 1 spoked wheel. So yeah, that needs a strip down, and that will probably become a painting and weathering test bed. Moving on, a loco that I'm not a big fan of in real life, but that will never leave my collection. It was given to me by my late grandfather. It does run, but it's a shelf queen. I'm that worried about anything happening to it now. It's just going to sit there. It may not be worth much in monetary value, but the sentimental value is so much more. Anyway, moving on, we have a Lima Class 37. It's a very old, very early Class 37. It's not going to hold up against your Helgens or your Vi trains. Does anyone remember when they did Class 37? Anyway, that's it in there. The pickup wires come off the second bogie. It could be sorted out and running quite easily, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that right now. Moving on, we've got a Hymek. Yep, that one was inherited. I've got no real connection to that, and honestly, if anyone in the comments thinks they can give it a good home for a nominal value, let me know. And likewise, this Steam Loco. Now, I'm sure many of you in the comments will probably know what it is. I have no idea. The cab bar that you can see on this side is broken on the other side. And yeah, I have no connection, no love for it whatsoever. So that, quite honestly, if someone wants to take it off my hands again for a nominal value, let me know down in the comments. We'll sort something out. Now moving over to the Friday Bridge layout once again, and we'll take a look at the freight rolling stock I have, and also give you an idea of how it's supposed to be laid out at the same time. So first of all, I purchased this kit built as is. It has weird horn block couplers on that need swapping out, but other than that, it just needs painting and finishing. And alongside it is these 2 wagons here, which I'm not sure. Are they Hornby 00? Are they some other manufacturer? It just says made in England. So they are quite old. There's a tiny bit of damage to the top of that one where the coal load has broken out. I still have the coal load, but these 3 wagons are critical to what I want to do with Wisbech and Upwell Tramway and my larger collection, because the last ever train to run on Wisbech and Upwell Tramway in revenue service was 3 16-ton mineral wagons empty, a Southern brake van which is still part built as a kit. It's very dusty, dirty, it's really been through the wars, so I need to give that some love soon. And a BR Class 04 tramway loco, so it's one of the earlier Class 04s with the side skirts. Now, Rapido Trains is going to be releasing a model of that, and I'm going to be getting one. Moving on to the second track, we have a Hornby flat wagon. Now, that originally had sides on it and a small car parked on it. Unfortunately, they have since broken away, but I've had that since childhood. I'm still going to keep it. I'm going to find a use for it. Moving on is a Lomac that I got in a trade. The initial idea was to try and recreate Dan's house from Titfield Thunderbolt. It's not the right wagon. It was going to be a big load of compromises, and now I have the actual thing on pre-order from Rapido. It's a bit of an oddity. I might find a more suitable load, like a tractor or something, that can be delivered out to the fens, but right now I don't have a use for it. On the rear track we have two Hornby, I believe, box vans. They're going to be critical for simulating the fruit traffic that the line was so well known for. This modern transport Liverpool ore wagon, that came in the trade with the Lomac. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. Someone wants to give it a home, again let me know. But it's a nice little wagon. It's, I could possibly find a home for it. Moving on, we've got one of these old Hornby four-wheel coaches that as well came in the trade, and yeah, it's nice. It was gonna be part of Dan's house. Again, no need to do that now. We're getting the real thing. Moving on, I'm not sure if this is Hornby or Lima. It's quite a crude moulding, but it is a horse box nonetheless. Then we come into this covered hopper. So yeah, that's cool. No use for that whatsoever on this layout though. And we have this ICI petrochemicals tanker. Now the wheels won't turn on that. It had metal wheels replaced from the original plastic ones, and let me get focus on that. Yeah, they either need shaving down or different wheel sets in, but again, no real use for it, so probably won't get done in this lifetime. Then we have this box van in black. Now I don't know if there's a prototype for that or whether I need to repaint it, but yeah, it's very odd, but it could become a useful part of the fleet. Finally, we have a towed brake van. Once again, it's in primer. It's had the handrails removed and everything. The plan for that, once again, was part of the Titfield Thunderbolt pack. I've actually got, because of how the train packs from Rapido work, I've actually got two of them coming, I think. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And last but not least, we have this chassis from what was a Hornby Class 06, affectionately known to me as TB, because it is my testbed loco, and you'll have seen that earlier in the video running around. It does desperately need a service, which is why it was stuttering and faltering, and maybe it's partly due, excuse the detritus on the table, but partly due to my ancient controller as well. So yeah, that is part one. I'm going to pull up a few more items of rolling stock, so I'll see you in a second. So moving on, we have this Hornby 00, and it even says Meccano on the bottom. Fruit D wagon. It's very old, it's very crude. I don't know why I ever purchased it, to be honest. They would never find their way up this way unless people have evidence otherwise. So yeah, that really needs a new home. I mean, it's got ancient horrible horn block couplers on. It's just, yeah, it doesn't fit in with the model railway at all. Scooching up to the back, if we get it to focus, we've got Digby. You'll have seen him running. I think there's some issues with the pickups on them, and the same with Charlie, who you can see there. Yeah, they're just not great. I mean, they run fine on DCC, but occasionally they do stutter, and I think there is an issue with the pickups, how they're transmitting power from the rails to the wheels and up through to the motor. Now, I do actually own another Charlie. He's somewhere deep in storage. The idea being to translate that into a faux tramway wagon. Or, no, not wagon at all. Tramway loco. You know, the Class 04 is going to be a while, and just as a bit of fun, I thought about doing that. Moving on is a recent purchase, and I blame Phil Parker for this. It's a BT's wagon. No practical reason, although it will become handy in the Ingle Nook. So yeah, Phil Parker, if you ever see this video, I blame you for that one, but it is nice to have it all the same. Moving on, I missed this out of the previous one. This is a kit that I am currently assembling. It does need painting, but if we can get a good look, see, I've got some cast metal buffer heads and hook there for 3 links. I won't actually be using 3 links, but it's nice to have that on there all the same. Coming over the back, we have a Lima Class 60. Now I know the Hornby model is more detailed and better, blah blah blah, but I really like this model. Completely inappropriate for this Ingle Nook shunting puzzle, but it's another keeper for me. Moving on, we have another Lima loco, this time Class 20. I did have a couple of Class 20s, and I traded the other one for the wagons seen in the video earlier, but this one I held on to because I just love the Rail Freight red stripe livery. Continuing on, we have this coach. Now that coach come as part of a magazine partwork, which was Build Your Own Model Railway, and I have 2 others that are still in the blister pack, and I can't remember if they were 50p or £1 for the first issue. It was like, well, that's crazy. Real loss leader for the magazine. Real bonus for me. Don't know what I'm going to do with the coaches yet, but I'm sure I can come up with something. And then last but not least, we have the J70 tram that has featured on the channel before. It is a Rapido model. It's a bit later than I would have liked livery wise, but you know, it's still got the tramway skirts, and we do have a Great Eastern Railway liveried one on pre-order with the tramway coaches, so all is good there. And I believe that brings us up to date. Now there is going to be one more part to this video, which is where I show off the goodies that I picked up from Doncaster. So see you in a second. And so on to the final part of this video. I'm sorry if this has dragged on a bit, but I felt it was necessary. I wanted to cover everything in one video, and then we can focus on the actual modelling side of it. So these Metcalf kits I received as a free bonus for subscribing to BRM at the show. I let my subscription run out anyway, and I wanted to start it up again. Now I'm getting serious with modelling, so I figured, you know, let's wait till the show, see what offers I got on. And yes, so we received these 3 kits, and there's also a Metcalf kit for a stable block, which I've already given away to a friend, and she is going to build that up for me. And I'll probably make a diorama or something fun with it. It wouldn't fit in with any of my model railway, so it seemed a good way to use it and not let it go to waste. This Hornby wagon, Hale Fuels, Birmingham, that also came with the Metcalf models. So subscribing to magazines at shows is a really great idea because they have fantastic offers. Not to mention it was a reduced price on the magazine as well. So, you know, it's a no-brainer really. If you like the magazine, wait till the show, subscribe, and see what you get. Now, the next thing, this was my last purchase of the day actually. I looked at it a few times and I was like, it's a Ruston. I'm in Lincoln. I like Rustons. And I looked at it and I see the price and I walked away. And other people had both this number and other numbers on the shelves or on the tables, however you want to call them. Some of them had actual shelves. Anyway, I digress. They were selling it between 145 and 165 quid. And I was like, okay, are they DCC fitted or anything like that? No, exact same part number. And I was like, okay, do a bit of Googling. And yep, nothing. I was like, well, I actually want one of these anyway. I've been looking at them since they came out and thinking, yeah, I want one. So I had the money, I could afford it. I went and bought it. Now, moving round, I found this little fella. Now, it's for use on 00 gauge track, but it's actually HO scale, which is a tiny issue because if I was to put it alongside the J70 tram, it's a little bit taller than the tram, and it should be the other way round. But until someone states that they're actually going to produce this, now the bogie coaches from the Wisbech and Upwell Tramway are coming, and I have some of those coming. What I don't have is the 4-wheeled stock. So I figured, you know, a Henrietta, it'll be a fun way to sort of stopgap, if you like. And who doesn't love Toby and Henrietta anyway? So scrolling around, L cut. Now that's not a bad example of a similar type of shed that existed at Wisbech for the trams. And I believe it was about £20 for this laser cut kit. And I was like, you know, let's give it a whirl. And I also picked up a signal box interior kit. I do have a kit somewhere. It's in one of the boxes for the Saxby and Farmer signal box that was at Wisbech and was just behind the engine shed actually. And I figured, you know, a signal box interior would really lift that model and make it so much better. So that's what that's for. And then I come across these windows, and I think they were £1 some odd, something crazy. And I figured, you know what, if you look real close, you can see that they're slightly stepped around the top edge, but they're certainly no worse than the scratch built ones that I made. And if I ever want to build another building that featured on Wisbech and Upwell Tramway, if I just get my scratch built model here with the roof. Now it looks really rough and crude close up. The roof's not attached. Now as you can see, the glazing bars are slightly different and they are slightly wrong, but it's an option, because I can tell you that was a nightmare to craft them out of plastic strip, card strip. But anyway, the building is pretty much spot on for size wise. There's a double door entrance on this end, single door on that end. The roof is a little undersized. It's just cardboard stock with some self-adhesive tiles. The idea was get some ridge tiles and whatnot on it. It'd be okay, but it took a bit of bashing. Anyway, on to the final couple of purchases. And I was surprised to find this at a BRM show. But look at that beauty. And yes, DCC fitted. Now the lights don't work in one direction. I've probably just had a look inside. It's probably a loose wire or something simple. But it's an absolute beautiful runner. And we have his stablemate friend. And they were both priced at $35 each. But you know what? Full compliments and shout out to Elaine's Trains. $65 for the pair. And this is a B23-7, which is a Bachmann Spectrum, so it's an older model. Everyone says the Athern one is a better shape. It's this, that, and the other. You know what? For the price, it's close enough that I will enjoy it. The other one being an MP15. And the reason I've gone and got both of these is I want to have at least one model of every loco that Norfolk Southern had between 1982 and 1986. And they had both of these. They also had your sort of GP9s, GP7s, and all of that good stuff. And I will get to those at some point. But right now, all they need is a livery change. And yeah, both DCC, both work straight out the box, plunk them on the track, set them up with an address, which was really easy to do on the easy command, as the name suggests, and away they trundled. Alright, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Sorry it's dragged on a bit, but, you know, there's a lot to cover here. Anyway, thank you for watching. Kind of messing up this outro now, aren't I? But yeah, it's been a pleasure. I am a bit tired. I stayed up late and watched the Daytona 500 last night. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.